everything's set here now. I know you're very busy and you have to get back to the office, so thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're busy with other people's business.
Well, Lewis is covering for me. I said I'd be back when I established the ground rules here.
Who are you to set the rules for how we live our lives?
I don't care how you live your life. I'm here for Anna and Robin. Incidentally, how many hours do you spend around here?
Oh, come on, man. You're pushing this a bit too
Rob's
far.
just trying to help us, that's all.
Yeah, I'm sure he is trying to help. But once you finish cutting all this baloney, will you kindly leave?
When I'm satisfied. Now, about the hours,
I heard the question. Well, my hours vary. I usually close the club about 1 a.m. It gets me home around 2 a.m. I wake up in the morning, I have a little breakfast, if that's all right. And then I usually head back to the club about 3 p.m. All right?
and of course, Anna's going to be here, unless, of course, she's out shopping or doing whatever.
For the next week, but then I'd like to start back at work.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
Well, I think I'll feel strong enough to do that.
Why don't we talk about that involvement later on?
Come on, I own half the business. I'm a partner.
Let's discuss it later. Huh?
No, I don't want to discuss it later. How we live our lives and our careers, it's our business, not yours.
Look, I realize that, and fine. But we'll discuss it later. Now, in the meantime, Olin will continue doing what she's doing, collecting Robin and bringing her back here. I've given her a mobile telephone which is connected direct to the police station in the event that something might happen.
Hold on a second. Is there something else going on here that we don't know about?
Is there something else?
Well, nothing specific. But I think we all know, especially you, Anna, that trouble can arrive at all sorts of strange places from almost anywhere. Now, in the meantime, Olin will continue doing what she's doing. You will be here till 3 o'clock, and then when you leave, there'll be an off-duty police officer take over.
Hold on 1 second. Who the hell's going to pay for all these off-duty police officers? I can't afford that. And besides that, I can take care of my own family.
Can you? On the subject of the alarm that was installed downstairs, now, I know that Philomena used to turn it off because it somewhat confused it, but it's been reactivated. Olin understands the technology a little bit better, so it's now on.
Hold on, please. You're becoming a bit of a nuisance, you know. You haven't listened to one thing we had to say. You just keep battling on about what you want. Well, I'm not having any of it. Do you understand?
Wow, Mommy, Daddy, that's so cute.
Sweetheart. Oh, did you have a good day at school?
Yes, very. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound
that saved a wretch like me.
Hi. How you doing? Can I help you? You looking for somebody? Excuse me a second. How you doing?
Okay.
I've seen you around this neighborhood, haven't I? With an older lady, wears a blue dress.
Yeah, my grandma.
I think I've seen her in here. So what's your name?
Johnny.
Everything okay, Johnny?
Grandma says God lives here.
He sure does. God lives a lot of places.
Well, when is he in? You see, me and my grandma, we got problems. And, she says it's all up to God now. And so I came here to see if I could find out how to talk to him. Do you know?
How to talk to God? Boy, that's a question and a half. You know, who I think you ought to talk to about that is Reverend Tyson. He's been talking to God most of his life. He ought to be back here in about half an hour.
I don't got a half an hour. I gotta get home. Could you maybe take a message for God and have the Reverend tell him when he gets here? You see, my mom needs help.
What kind of help?
Well, she's real sick, and she's going in for surgery tomorrow. And I'm sort of scared that she's gonna die or something.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you know, if my mom were going in for surgery tomorrow, I think I'd be a little scared, too.
Yeah, so will you take the message? I gotta go.
Hey, wait, before you go. You know, I don't think that there's any great mystery about how to pray. I think that you can just talk to God like you're talking to me. You know, tell him what's on your mind. Tell him what's worrying you. And say, Lord, I sure would appreciate it if you'd kind of look in on my mom tomorrow and give her a hand.
You mean you can talk to God just like that?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Too easy.
Oh, why shouldn't it be easy? If God made all of us, then there isn't anybody who knows us better.
It's just that I always thought he was like, up in heaven or in the sky or somewhere far away. Isn't he?
Yeah. You know, I used to think the same thing, but I don't think God's very far at all. Matter of fact, the way I hear it, God is as close to you as your breath is right now. And you can pray in the softest voice that you can imagine. As a matter of fact, you don't have to say it out loud at all. Just think the thoughts, and God will hear you.
You mean he can read minds?
Kind of makes you think twice about some of the stuff you've been thinking, huh? Well, I tell you what. I don't claim to be real smart. And I don't know how God does everything that he does. But I do know that he's your friend. And he loves you. And he cares what happens to you and your mom. So I think that you can just pray to God anytime, anywhere, and he'll hear you.
Right now?
Sure. Right now. Right here. You can come over here and sit down or stand up, kneel. It's your choice.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Don't thank me. Thank the Lord.
I think you're about the sweetest man I ever saw, the way you gave that boy something to hang on to.
I didn't give him anything that God didn't give me first. I mean, I just shared with him.
Oh, call it what you want to call it, but that was beautiful.
So what do you think about the song for tonight? You want to work on it some more?
No, and I don't want to disturb him while he's praying, but, no, I was working on it. I love it. It's
Well,
gonna
good.
be great.
Well, then you can do it tonight.
Well, I have another hymn in mind for tonight. And I also hope that my friend Felicia comes by tonight. She's been very upset about her husband missing.
Yeah, well, you know, if she came, I think she could probably find some comfort here.
She probably would. She's a strong girl, you know. And she's been gathering a lot of facts about him. I mean, that man's got to be all right.
Is he a good man?
He's the best in the world for her. Right now, I can't imagine those two being with anybody but each other. They're perfectly matched.
Oh, I didn't realize how hungry I was. I don't know what we would all do without you and Ruby.
You'd get along fine, I'm sure. But when Terry stopped by Kelly's on the way to church, she said nothing short of a war would drag you away from the telephone today.
Well, for whatever that was worth. I think I just spent $300 worth of phone calls. I didn't even get any information out of the WSB at all.
Well, that sounds familiar. Remember when Jake left?
Oh, you were so crazy.
I wouldn't leave the telephone to go to the bathroom. I was so sure he would call any minute. For all the good it did me. Looks like you and I are in the same boat. Our husbands are both off in the unknown somewhere.
Yeah. Well, Jake was never reported as missing.
Not yet. But I'm expecting to hear that any day.
I don't know, maybe I'm just going through some kind of psychological shock or something, but I can't. I refuse to believe that Frisco's dead. Terry tried to get me to go see Colton about handling my grief over Frisco. I couldn't. I can't.
You know, she talks about him that way all the time, as though he was some kind of a guru healer. And the church part is fine. Terry grew up that way, but Colton gives me the willies.
In what way?
I don't see him as a saint. He's too good to be true.
Maybe. But maybe it's just because of the family that he comes from? Because Lucy?
Well, look at the family. They're like wanted posters at the post office. They're a parade of phonies. Do you remember Lucy Coe when she first came to town?
Right. She looked like that little mouse. She had big black glasses and dowdy clothes. She was something. I don't even remember her looking like that, actually.
When Lucy's aunt came to town, posing as Lucy's maid until we found out differently, Colton came to town as a Marine. Now he's posing as some kind of a worker priest. And you see what I mean? What's the truth about any of them?
I suppose.
And after that loser, Dusty Walker, Terry does not need any more hurt in her life.
I don't know. Maybe you should give Colton a break. I heard him talk at the church, and he seems like a real person to me.
Well, coming from the family he comes from, Colton has a lot to prove to me.
Can Daddy stay for dinner?
I don't know, sweetheart. I've just got back from the hospital. You know that.
Robin, Mummy's very tired. She's got to take it easy after all she's been through.
You say, kiddo, why don't you and I make a raid on a cookie jar out there, There's a hot rumor that somebody baked some fresh homemade cookies today.
Go and get some cookies and milk. Go on, up you go.
Sweetheart, in answer to your question, yes, I will be staying for dinner, and then after that, we'll have a nice long chat. Okay? Okay, off you go.
Did you hear what you said? He's staying for dinner. Not only is he going to run the place like a police department, he's going to catch free meals into the bargain.
Look, you've interrupted me so many times, I've forgotten where I am with this plan.
Do we get a vote in the plan,
Well,
maybe?
sure you do, but look, it's all worked out. Don't worry about it. Now, I leave work at the usual time. I come straight over here and relieve the officer from the afternoon shift.
Well, that means you'll be having dinner with us every night, then.
Hey, you didn't have to do that, but thanks, sweetheart.
Well, listen, you better listen to me. I'm not going to have you and your wireless telephones and your little lists and your off-duty policemen running about this house. Do you understand that?
You don't have much choice. I happen to have enemies out there, and I trust you probably have just as many. And I won't have anyone messing with my daughter again. Final.
You have a head as big as Gibraltar, and it's also just as hard.
Okay,
You buzz off,
then let's
Buster. Go on,
stop
buzz
quarreling,
off. I'm not quarreling. I'm going to knock his bloody head off.
You wish.
You leave. Bye. Bye-bye.
All right, I'm going. But look, try to explain to him
Yes.
in not big words what's going on
Okay,
with you.
bye, Robert.
Buzz off. He's gone daft, you know. He's gone completely daft. If he comes here for dinner, take him out to the back porch and feed him with a dog.
All right. Just calm down. I meant what I said. I know he makes you angry, but he's a very irritating person. If he gets his teeth into anything, that's just the way he is.
What do you suggest we do? Push all the furniture up against the door when we see him come up the garden path? Robin's going to love that.
Oh, come on. He'd love that, too. He loves any kind of resistance. All he needs is a little peace and quiet for a week. As soon as he knows that there's no more Grant Putnams out there, he'll be fine.
A week? I have to look at that self-effacing mug across my dinner table for 1 week?
Well, maybe he'll get bored and go away.
Well, it can't be too soon for me. As far as I'm concerned, the only threat to peace and security and safety in this house is Robert Scorpion.